Do you believe that you can heal yourself? Too often we give our power away to something outside of ourselves, and rarely, if ever, trust and tap into our innate healing power and intuition. Everyone has this capability to heal in ways we never thought possible. It's your sovereign right to claim and have true health and lasting wellness. Now, here is the host of the Dr. Dolores Show, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in our amazing universe. And you're listening to another episode on the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network. And as you could see, I am not in my office, I'm on the road. So today's destination is Spearfish, South Dakota. Never been to South Dakota, so it's another check on my bucket list. And spending some time in the Black Hills of South Dakota. And there's a lot of culture and a lot of heritage, a lot of Native American heritage here and a lot of history. So I'm really looking forward to explore. And I felt that this was going to be the perfect segue into the topic of today's episode, which is creating sacred spaces in nature and whispers of wisdom. You know, how often we hear about these amazing places in our world where maybe there's been a miracle, a healing, or it just feels so uplifting just being in the presence of wherever this place is that it just draws people to it. So, you know, when we look at those things, we it's all like individualized and personalized. What's going to resonate with one person may not have no effect on somebody else. So this is where it's really important to just check in with yourself and just, you know, where you feel where you're feeling like you're leaning in to really lean in and to go to those places that have kind of piqued your curiosity, or there's something about that that you need to or want to explore. So for me right now is like I'm here in South Dakota as I was sharing, but for me there is the White Buffalo Calf Woman is one of my guides, and she's always been a presence with me, especially when I was going through very turbulent times, and just really assessing, you know, my personal growth and taking myself to the next level. It's like sometimes we get new guides come in and others leave that are going to be more aligned with where you're going. I learned so much and gained so much wisdom from being in meditation with her and the beautiful innate gifts that she presented to me that I felt in my heart that I really wanted to pay her reverence and honor her by being in her native land, basically, where she was the prophet that came to the indigenous people to offer them hope and inspiration and teach them ways of living that would be assistive to them for their uh, tribe's survival and their ability to thrive. So here we are, and I'm connecting with her here as we are right now. So I just want to say one thing about what makes spaces in nature so sacred. You know, sometimes it's just the captivating things that I feel it's extremely personal, and each one of us just knows what we're related to and what we're connected to and what we have a tendency to lean into. And I just encourage you to follow that. Sometimes it could be things in nature like towering mountains or a beautiful waterfall, or it could be, you know, a sense of awe that it creates a sense of awe and humility, realizing that, you know, we are so much smaller than we think we are in comparison to what's surrounding us. I remember about 35, 36 years ago witnessing the Grand Canyon for the first time. For me, it was like when you looked over the edge, there were no pictures that could capture the essence and the view that I was seeing and the experience that I was having. It was just like I knew that I was just a minuscule person in this big cosmic world, but yet we have the capability of making a huge difference by the ripple effect. So for me, I knew in that moment when I was at the Grand Canyon, even though it was a brief visit, that I would be there, be returning there numerous times because I just knew that I needed to explore this wonder of the world. And in the 36 years since that time, I've been back there numerous times doing numerous things and also enjoying it during different seasons of the year as well. So I know that my audience here has probably had something very similar happen, or there's something completely different, something with connection to something larger. I mean, I feel for me that was a huge experience with that. I'm going to reiterate this. It's just like I felt like I was such a small presence, but I was greatly connected to something more vast than I could ever imagine. Sometimes there's historical significance that create sacred spaces in nature. Sometimes if there's been multiple battles over the years and times, that energy kind of gets implanted and stays into, the land. And sometimes if you're a sensitive or you're an empath, you could feel the energy of what had transpired in that area maybe thousands of years ago. I mean, it's pretty incredible. And sometimes it's just a personal connection. You become where maybe you've had a profound spiritual experience wherever you've been, and that becomes your own sacred space in nature where you continue to return to tap into those essences. What I find very interesting too is that, did you know that once you've been to a place, energetically you could continually tap into that? I bet you didn't know that, but it's very true. What you do is you tap into that energy and that essence of what you're feeling, and you're just recreating it. And it's almost as if when you think about it, you could just step right into that and be right in that moment when you experience that feeling. A lot of times, people think, oh, I have to travel to this place to get a dose of that. Not necessarily so. You have that capability, believe it or not, just to tap into the essence of what you experienced so that you could actually step into that again. So that takes things a step further because we have a tendency to focus on the negative things and we continually step into those. So this is a plot twist, and let's focus on those beautiful places that we've been and just connect with the essence of that so you're right there right now. So, these are just some of the reasons that why people find sacred places in nature sacred. And sometimes there's sacred places in the world that hold a very deep spiritual or deep meaning connection. And there's places all over the world. Some examples are like Mount Kailash in Tibet, and it's a pilgrimage destination for adherents of four religions: Hinduism, Buddhism, Bon, and Jainism. Mount Kailash is a revered as the abode of Shiva in Hinduism, the center of the world in some Buddhist traditions, and the dwelling place of a celestial deity, Jainism. So that's an example of a spiritual sacred place that holds a lot of deep meaning. You could have a sacred spiritual place in your backyard or even on your porch. It's what relates to what the meaning was for you and how that you incorporated that into your life, and what it has done for you for your life. Another place is like the Western Wall in Jerusalem. It's considered the holiest site in Judaism, and the Western Wall is a remnant of the Second Temple destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. Lots of history there. Jews from all over the world visit the Western Wall to pray and insert notes containing their prayers between the stones. So it's like sometimes it could be a shrine, it could be a place of holiness where miracles happen and where you feel that the veils are so thin between this reality and the reality of the other side. Another place is the Ganga River in India, and it's considered the most sacred river in Hinduism. The Ganges is believed to have the power to absolve sins and purify the soul. Millions of Hindus visit the Ganges every year to bathe in its water, especially during the festival of Kumbh Mela. So another place where sacredness is, and it's the belief, and it is, I would say, ritualistic, but also it offers peace, serenity, and hope to people where maybe there hadn't been any. And then there's this other place called Uluru, Ayers Rock in Australia. And Uluru, I've just pronounced it correctly, is a massive sandstone rock formation in central Australia that is sacred to the Aboriginal people. Uluru is believed to be a ancestral being and a storehouse of creation stories. And these are places all over the world that are known, and there's so many of them that are unknown too, that are so uniquely special to individuals like you and I. One last place is Stonehenge. Okay, Stonehenge is a prehistoric monument in Wiltshire, England. And Stonehenge is believed to have been a religious site used for thousands of years, and the purpose of Stonehenge is still unknown, but it is thought to have been used for astronomical observations or religious ceremonies. Sorry, got to put the teeth in. Okay, here we go. So, those are like some samplings of big powerhouse places on the earth. For some people, going to the beach is a sacred and spiritual experience. Some people just taking a walk in nature. What I'm circling back to say is, like, you make the places sacred with what you bring to it and what you get from it. So it's such an individualized thing. It could be on the continuum of massive, places like Lourdes where miracles happen, or even going to Mount Shasta and having an experience on the mountain and connecting with the underworld of Telos. It could be going to Sedona. It could be going to Peru and Machu Picchu. It could be going to Brazil. It could be going any place in the world where there is a specialness to that you are drawn to. So I'm just going to invite you to really step into yourself and just ask your higher self, where are you really drawn to? Where do you want to go? And what makes things so uniquely special and delicious that really draws you to those areas? What is it about that? Is it what you're receiving? Is it what you bring to that area that enhances and feeds you back? Whatever that is, pay attention to that and really use that to move forward on your path, because these sacred places in nature, I believe there's no mistake that we have them. It's just to remind us of how amazing we really are and how connected we are, especially when we've lost that loving feeling that we should be feeling for ourselves. It's a reminder that we are surrounded by beauty, and that beauty is a reflection of who we are on a real deep level. So, we're going to talk more about how you could create a deep bond with nature when we come back from our first break on this show. So you're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, broadcasting live from Spearfish, South Dakota. And when we return, we will talk more. Stay tuned.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Ready to break free from complacency? Welcome to I'm Awake, Now What? Your monthly invitation to embrace conscious living. If you've been feeling lost or stagnant, this is your chance to awaken your purpose. Join our transformative conscious wake-up office hours every month for guidance and self-discovery. Experience the power of clarity and focus as you navigate towards holistic healing and empowerment. Don't just survive, thrive. Sign up now and unlock a wealth of benefits, including enhanced well-being, stress reduction, emotional healing, and connection. It's time to ignite the flames of purpose within and start your journey to a fulfilling life.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Dr. Dolores Fazzino here of the Dr. Dolores Show on the road today. I'm in Spearfish, South Dakota, going on a little sovereign journey to refresh, reboot, and restore myself and to deepen my connection with my guides. And anyway, so we've been talking about whispers of wisdom, sacred spaces in nature. We know that there's these beautiful places and landmarks all over the world that are very famous, and a lot of people are drawn to them for, support, finding themselves, rebalancing themselves. And those are the big places. There are those subtle, smaller places that are located everywhere. And I feel that we create that specialness by the outer reflection of what's going on the inner side of us. And right now, we're going to talk about how you could create your own little nirvana on earth so that you could feel where you're getting nurtured and getting rejuvenative energy so that you get a pulse, so you're feeling like you're supported and loved on your path. So, how are some of the ways that we can create a deep bond with nature? Engage your senses. Sometimes we need to slow down. We're in a world where everything is constantly in motion, and it's time we really start flipping the switch and coming and doing less and being more. Slow down and truly immerse yourself in the natural world around you. Notice the sounds of the birds singing, the feel of the sun on your skin, the smell of pine needles after rain if you're in the forest, and pay attention to the details and how they change throughout the day and seasons. It's like we're learning how to commune with nature and to allow nature to coexist with us so we could create more of a balance and feel those yummy, delicious feelings that we get when we go out in nature. Spend outdoor time regularly. Make it a habit to get outside every day, even if it's just for a short walk. The more time you spend in nature, the more comfortable and connected you will feel. It allows you to get into your body. When you're in your physical body, you're in the present moment. When you're in the present moment, you could actually learn how to access that inner wisdom that you have within yourselves. Minimize distractions. Put away your phone and other devices when you're outdoors. Like I was saying, being present in the moment allows you to fully appreciate the beauty and wonder of nature. Learn about nature. Visit your local parks, forests, beaches, mountains, and each environment has its own unique character and will offer different experiences. And if you're curious about flowers and rocks or plants and animals in your area, just look and research that. What I always find impressive is that animals are messengers and call them totems. Native Americans used to see animals crossing their paths, and they have their spiritual meanings for those animals. They're like messengers. So if something crosses your path, I invite you to just Google that and just say spiritual meaning of, say, a chipmunk or a squirrel, whatever crosses your path. Now, yesterday I had a beautiful translucent, um, I want to say it was blue, luminescent dragonfly fly across the car when I was in the car, and it was just absolutely spectacular. You could see the wings and everything. So I know for dragonflies, they're like blessings and transformation. So pay attention to the animals because they're giving you messages as well. And it'll actually open you up to another deeper level of being in nature as well. So important, minimize your impact. It's like walk upon the earth with fur-lined moccasins, leaving very soft steps. When you are taking care of nature, you are actually building a bond with it as well. And also consider it a nature-based practice like gardening, hiking, bird watching, stargazing. Those are some samples of what a nature-based practice is. And it allows you to connect deeper with our people or our nature people who are connecting, and the animals and the critters and it just allows you to connect deeper and just allow you to be fully present in the world. And sometimes you just realize how amazing things are in the simplicity of life and how complicated we as human beings have made life in contrast to what you witness in nature. Always find a spot, choose a favorite place in nature, and spend time there regularly, observing, simply observing and being present. This can be a powerful way to connect with a particular place. And actually, it makes it more sacred for you because if you continuously go there and you're putting your energy and your love and your thoughts and your presence there, it becomes your own special place. My backyard, for instance, is one of those special places for me. I've morphed it into an ever blooming, ever present reality where I have a lot of nature that comes to my house. It's like I feel like it's a haven for the little critters like the squirrels and the rabbits and all different birds that come. And also I remember one time I had a swarm of bees that came into my yard and stayed. And the unfortunate thing was I needed to get a beekeeper in to remove that hive because it wasn't really conducive for me having a hive of bees in my backyard at that time. So what was really cool was the beekeeper said, "I've never seen bees so chill before." And I looked at him and smiled. I said, "Well, look at this backyard. There's water, there's flowers of every kind, there's other animals, coming and going. And I said, there's Buddhas everywhere. What's not to like?" So he chuckled about that, and I did too, because it was what was created, and the animals feel the presence of the sacredness that and feel like it's a safe haven. So you're creating a safe haven, not only for yourself, but for everything that's involved in your special nature place. There's a saying that everywhere you go, here I am. And just by being there, your essence creates an environment. So, what does that really mean? You know, I think I shared a little bit about that with my experience in my backyard. But the literal influence sometimes, our physical presence can obviously affect an environment. We leave footprints on the beach, build structures in landscapes, and create gardens that change the local ecosystem. The energy and mood, that's another influence. We all have an energy field, and scientific studies are starting to explore how energy fields might interact. So you're looking at auras and Calarian photography and stuff like that. While the exact mechanisms are debated, some people believe our moods and emotional states can subtly influence the environment. And I'm a firm believer in that because who you are is an energy and that ripples out from you. We've talked about this a lot, in collective consciousness, if collective consciousness was a pool of water, you and your essence of who you are in this moment is a pebble and it drops into the pond of collective consciousness and ripples out. It cannot not affect anything. So it's going to be affecting things without your awareness if you're not aware. And it's important to just be currently present with yourself so you're aware of who you are being, and what you are being, and what you're contributing to the collective consciousness in the energy field. For an example, a calm person might create a more peaceful environment while somebody stressed might create a tenser one. And we've all been there. You could feel that sometimes when you're in a room. Words don't have to be exchanged, it's a feel. So personality and values also have a way of contributing to an energetic field. For example, someone known for their humor might make the room feel more lighthearted, whereas other people who are like Eeyore the donkey, Eeyore, it's just whatever they brings like a downer to that effect. It's like, not feeling really good about themselves. So attention and focus, where we focus our attention shapes our perception of the environment. So yes, whatever you put your attention on, you're going to create. It's the law of attraction. It's that simple. You could create whatever you want based on what you feel and how you are experiencing your life. It just radiates out for you. This is where we are walking on, I want to say, the cusp of consciousness versus unconsciousness. It's a fine line. A lot of times we don't realize what we're doing until we are aware of that. And once we are aware of it, we're able to shift and move that into a different focus, a different reality, because we're aware of that and we can make that change and pivot that. It's all good. It's a being aware because we are conscious and unconscious creators. We are alchemists and manifestors. And for those people who have a stretch with believing that, just look at your life and where you are right now. What you're experiencing right now is what you've created in your life. Something to ponder and something to consider. And this is not about allowing yourself to go down the rabbit hole of beating yourself, judging, or criticizing. It's just pondering, said, isn't that interesting? That, okay, this is what's going on. And I choose to make a different choice. It's that simple. A lot of times we as human beings try to make it way more complicated than it has to be. And in the truth, it's the simplest way just to be aware and choose a different outcome. So you've been listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer on the road traveling to South Dakota. And we're on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we will talk more about creating whispers of wisdom, sacred spaces, in nature. Stay tuned.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Ready to break free from complacency? Welcome to I'm Awake, Now What? Your monthly invitation to embrace conscious living. If you've been feeling lost or stagnant, this is your chance to awaken your purpose. Join our transformative conscious wake-up office hours every month for guidance and self-discovery. Experience the power of clarity and focus as you navigate towards holistic healing and empowerment. Don't just survive, thrive. Sign up now and unlock a wealth of benefits, including enhanced well-being, stress reduction, emotional healing, and connection. It's time to ignite the flames of purpose within and start your journey to a fulfilling life.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics, carrying us through the day and taking us to bed with you. We're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer on the road again in Spearfish, South Dakota. We've been talking today about whispers of wisdom, sacred places in nature. And so for many of us, we are on a journey of visiting places where, they may be holy spots, spiritual spots, or things that we resonate with, that there has a deep, profound meaning for us that allows us to really tap into our deeper connectedness and to allow us to return to home. Return to home meaning returning to self, where we get rejuvenated, refreshed, and restored. So, with that in mind, I just wanted to share a little bit of what's going to be happening come August in and on the Dr. Dolores Show. Myself and a colleague of mine, Josie Stankantatis, who is a body talk practitioner, and I are formulating a group called I'm Awake, Now What? And it's for those people who have had a spiritual awakening, meaning that what had been working for them or the external is no longer making sense or working for them. And they know that they have to be different, but they just don't know what's next. It's like they're in uncharted territory. They are probably don't have a reference point for what's going on. And those are the people that I'm really addressing. So if you're going through this or you know somebody that's going to this, I invite you to join our membership program called I'm Awake Now What? And it's launching August 6th, 2024. And it offers support, insight, tools, and community to assist you on your awakening experience. This will be a live Zoom and a recording that's available to you, but it's also support and resources. So If that is interesting to you and seems like it's something you want to explore, I invite you to go to my website, drdoloresfazzino.com/, I'm dash awake dash now dash what, and sign up and explore. I know you will not be disappointed, and this will be your guidance and your Northern Star to assist you on your next steps on your journey. So, I would like to, as part of our program today, to give you a 5-minute guided meditation to unveil your inner sanctuary. So, your inner sanctuary of what's happening inside of you could be the beginnings of morphing something external to you that's going to be in alignment. So I just invite you to find a comfortable position where you could sit or lie down, where you feel most relaxed. And then close your eyes gently and soften your gaze if you prefer. Take a few deep breaths, inhaling slowly and completely, and exhaling fully with a soft sigh. Notice your body. Bring your awareness to the physical form. Wiggle your toes and fingers and notice the connection to your extremities. Scan your body, noticing any areas of tension, and gently release those areas with each exhale. Imagine a soft, warm light emanating from your heart center. This light represents your inner essence, your true and authentic self. See it growing brighter with each breath, filling your entire being with warmth and peace. Visualize yourself entering a sacred space within. It could be a serene meadow bathed in sunlight, a calming cave by a waterfall, or anything that feels safe and sacred to you. Take a moment to explore this space, noticing the sights, sounds, and smells that surround you. In this sacred space, feel a deep sense of connection to something larger than yourself. It could be a connection to nature, a higher power, or simply the interconnectedness of all things. Allow yourself to receive the peace and wisdom that flows from this connection. Notice a spark of the sacredness ignite within your own heart. This spark represents the potential you hold to create more sacredness in the world. See it growing stronger and brighter with each breath. Sharing your light, imagine yourself stepping out of your sacred space and back into the world. Carry the warmth and light of your inner essence with you. See how it radiates outward, touching everyone and everything you encounter. Take a few moments to simply be, integrating this experience into your being. When you feel ready, gently wiggle your fingers and toes and slowly open your eyes. Carry the light of your inner essence with you throughout your day, creating more sacredness in every interaction. So welcome back, everybody. There is this quietful peacefulness after a meditation. Everything seems to slow down in our world and allows us to be right here, right now, in the present moment. That sacredness that you feel within yourself is who you are. It is your essence, and this is what you reflect out into the world, especially when you connect to nature, to the animals, to the birds. It's your presence. So we do energetically create who we are. Some of the things to remember are that we could use this as a building block to something even more grander. When we contribute our essence to the world, when it's done with intention, reverence, peace, and harmony, we have the capability of transforming our environment and transforming our world. We do make a difference. It may not be the way you think you need to go around doing it or being it, but we do make a difference. So I invite you to ponder and contemplate how you show up in the world and how you want to leave your footprints upon the earth as you travel. Are you wanting to make soft impressions of love and peace and harmony? Or are you wanting to make rebellish things contrary to love and peace? It's really a choice. And I invite you to make a conscious choice, because we are, in essence, able to shift things in our world. It only takes one person. And if you think that's impossible, I invite you to rethink that. You are actually more powerful than you know. So you've been listening to the Dr. Dolores Show, and we've been talking about creating sacred spaces in nature, whispers of wisdom, and gaining wisdom from creating those sacred places within ourselves. So when we return, we're going to wrap it up. And you've been listening to the Dr. Dolores Show. I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And we're just going to go on our break. So hang tight.
Do you trust your instincts? Many of us don't. Yet this is the key to connecting to your innate healer within and your intuition. Tune in to the Dr. Dolores Show with nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer, Dr. Dolores Fazzino, to receive insights and tools to realign with your inner wisdom for lasting health and true wellness. Listen for the Dr. Dolores Show, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Ready to break free from complacency? Welcome to I'm Awake, Now What? Your monthly invitation to embrace conscious living. If you've been feeling lost or stagnant, this is your chance to awaken your purpose. Join our transformative conscious wake-up office hours every month for guidance and self-discovery. Experience the power of clarity and focus as you navigate towards holistic healing and empowerment. Don't just survive, thrive. Sign up now and unlock a wealth of benefits, including enhanced well-being, stress reduction, emotional healing, and connection. It's time to ignite the flames of purpose within and start your journey to a fulfilling life.
This is the Dr. Dolores Show with Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Dolores at drdoloresfazzino.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back, everybody. I can't believe it's the end of we're in our last segment on the Dr. Dolores Show today. Things have just gone whippily fast. But anyway, I'm Dr. Dolores Fazzino, nurse practitioner, medical intuitive, and energy whisperer. And you're listening to, I'm actually talking and sharing with you on the Dr. Dolores Show on Inspired Choices Network. Anyway, I'm getting silly now. Our episode has been on whispers of wisdom, sacred spaces in nature. And our whole episode has been talking about how we could develop these sacred spaces within ourselves, but also in our immediate environment. A lot of times we don't have to go to these real big, exorbitant places all over the world. And if we choose to go there and there's a reverence for it, we can, but we could create those sacred spaces within ourselves that allow ourselves to get rejuvenated, restored, and reconnected with who we are. And it might be as simple as creating a little sanctuary in your backyard if you have a backyard, or being out in nature and connecting with nature. Things are really that simple. And also knowing that if you've been to a sacred place before, when you take a deep breath and go back to what it was like to feel being in that place, you could tap into that energy and feed your soul without having to travel thousands of miles possibly to get there or revisit that. Once you have an experience someplace, that is always there for you. We forget that we could tap into that and reconnect with that. So I want to leave you with some takeaways from this episode. And our inner essence matters, okay? We all have an inner essence, a core of authenticity and truth that resides within each of us. Connecting with this essence is essential for living a meaningful and fulfilling life. It's as if we're connecting to an aspect of ourselves that is going to lead us to our next steps. Sacredness is everywhere, and indeed it is. Sacredness isn't limited to specific places of worship or specific sites. The quality we can cultivate within ourselves and find the natural world and our interactions with others is sacred. So I invite you to connect with that sacredness within yourselves. The power of meditation. Meditation is a powerful tool for connecting with our inner essence and assessing a sense of peace and sacredness. And meditation could be anything as simple as a guided meditation to just be sitting out in nature and looking and observing what is happening around you. Remember, I talked about animals crossing your path. I invite you, if you see an animal crossing your path or a specific bird or anything of that sort, look it up, because there's always a spiritual meaning to seeing or hearing, an animal. And there's usually messages for you. This is more of a sacred, shamanistic type of approach to being connected to your essence. Create a more sacred world. By cultivating your own inner light, we can contribute to creating a more sacred and peaceful world for ourselves and those around us. So be the light, the beacon. Your essence is your beacon and your light. Allow that to radiate from you. You're creating sacredness. And the essence of who you are is going to continually be part of who you are. And you want to make sure that you're able to leave graceful, soft footprints on the earth in your interactions with others and even with the earth itself. A personal journey. Exploration of inner essence and sacredness is a personal journey. What's going to be sacred to you may not be sacred to somebody else. And that doesn't mean it's right or wrong, good or bad. It's individualized and it's unique to each person. So here are some inspirational thoughts that I'd like to leave you with. Embrace nature. Notice the way nature offers a sanctuary for your spirit. Let the towering trees, the calming rivers, or the vast deserts remind you of your place in the grand tapestry of life. Recognize that the sacredness you find in nature is also present within you. You are part of the interconnected world, and you hold the power to cultivate peace and reverence wherever you go. It doesn't take much, people. You do make a difference. It's how you show up in life. Become a beacon. Let the experience you have in nature inspire you to create more sacred spaces in your world. This would be through acts of kindness, environmental protection, or simply cherishing the beauty around you. Be kind. It's really about being kind to a lot of people right now and having a lot of self-compassion and compassion. We are all doing the best we can, and sometimes we just need to be cut some grace. So self-compassion, especially when you feel like you're going to beat yourself up, please. Open your eyes, see the world with fresh eyes, and notice the delicate details of a flower, a tree, an animal, whatever crosses your path. These are everyday wonders and can be portals to the sacred. And continue your journey. It's not a one and done, it's just a lifelong journey. When you commune with nature, you're going to be coexisting and I'm going to say this, coexisting, but also co-creating with each other to allow the bonds that are going to happen between this world and the unseen world to be fully present. So I want to leave you with this quote. In every walk with nature, one receives far more than he seeks. And this is John Muir. So I'm going to invite you to take that with you and just make this day an incredible day and just reconnect with yourself through that sacred wisdom of nature. Stay tuned and see you next week on the
Thank you for listening to the
Show.
Dr. Dolores
Bye
Show.
now.
Dr. Dolores returns Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, remember to be kind to yourself and create your best life. You are worth it.